Hello, this is Roy from Tesla Owners US, and today I'm going to explain you the Roadster. That is the original Roadster and what it takes to drive that Roadster with some of the special tips and tricks. Comes after this intro.
See the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone.
The best way to start is with it is a regular key, just this type of a key, and you can open that two ways. You can press on the first button here. Actually, that's closing, and the second button is opening. And it opens the door, and here's a little button what you press down, and the door will open. When you have that door open, let me explain you also what is most important for most one who buying a convertible. Let me explain you the roof. Let me go into a better condition or better stage. Yes. Yeah. How to open this roof is actually you have to press your chest on it here a little bit, and there are two knobs what you press inwards down from here inwards, and then it looses it up, and then you can roll this up, and you do that the same way to the other side as well. From here, open the door first. Put your chest on it, put the knobs in the middle, both ways with both thumbs, press those two knobs in the middle, roll it up. From here, take those bars out. There are, I think, fiberglass bars on both sides. This side as well, here. And watch out those arrows, they have to point forward in both times. Point forward here, and also those arrows here on the roof itself need to point forward. Then the best thing what you do, you roll that in and put it in the trunk. So before we do that, what we also want to do is how to open the trunk. Two ways to open the trunk. There's an extra button at the third button. In my car, I have to press a couple of times. I think I have to oil that. Press it 3 times, 2, 3, and then the trunk opens. We put this one in the back of the car. And then I'll explain you some extras as well. So the extras are, this comes actually with a charging adapter. And there was an older one which is not functioning anymore, but I took the newer one, that is the Model S, Model X charging adapter, up to 40 kilowatt, and comes with a whole bunch of charger and adapters. Here there's adapters. There's 420 volt. There are a few of them for 240 here in the back. Goes for your dryer outlet or for any 50 amp outlet, from between 30 amp, concurrent 24 amp, or 50 amp outlet, concurrent 40 amp. So there comes also with a J7072 to new Tesla adapter. It's there in as well, in that package. Additionally, you find a special cable here. That is a 120 volt extra cable here with the original Tesla adapter. Looks like this. Maybe we should come a little closer. Yes. So nobody had 240 volt adapters or for the car, or not adapters, actually plugs for the car in the market. Tesla were the first ones, and the car industry could not decide. So Tesla had to go their own way. That's why on the Roadster there's a special one. That's the old Tesla adapter. Comes in here in 120 volt but you can also use this 120 volt, but I usually use this one for 240. The charger will be about $500 if you lose it. Every adapter, with the exception of the J7072, this is $95. The other ones are $50 if you lose it, plus shipping and handling. And there is a super special adapter with this car. This is the 240 adapter, or the adapter from the new Tesla to the old Tesla. And we're going to show you that at the charge port itself. Let's go there. Okay, here is the charge port. Now you have to rip it a little bit open. It's the same like a fuel port. Rip it a little bit open, there's a light coming on. The light is here in white. So once power is on, the light is blue. Once it is charging, the light will be amber and flashing. It's flashing higher, it's charging higher, it's flashing lower, as it goes to the end, close to the final. There is a marker here, what you have to line up with this groove here. And there's also a little screw in here. Both of them you line up with here, put it in, then twist it. So once you have it twisted, now you can put the new Tesla adapter in here. And there's a ring that loosens this, put the Tesla adapter in, loose the ring back, and then it should start charging. If it's not charging, you gotta call me. So, but usually it starts charging. So how to unlock that is the same way. Turn it, twist it, close it, and put it back. Don't lose it. Now let's come to the other equipment what we have here in the car. So let me show you first the other possibility of opening the trunk from here. So here on the side, if you come close, there's a marker here like the car in the trunk. There's a little button here and you press it. With me, there's an actuator behind that. With me, you have to press it a couple of times, then it opens. Best way to get in the car, put your butt on the door sill, slide in, move one leg in, move the other leg in. And that's the same how you get out of that. From here, how to explain the other utilities. The regular key comes into the ignition, whereby actually there is no ignition anymore. You turn the key until the car comes on. When you operate the car, you can press here a button of max range, what you should not do, and from here of performance. Now the fan turns on as well for the cooling. Now when the car is on, here's also the navigation system. If I close the door, the beeping stops. When I close this door, the beeping does not stop. Keeps that on accept. And what I recommend for you to see the speed, put on info, put on dashboard, and the speed shows on the screen. It has a navigation, what you have to type in. It has radio and Bluetooth as well. What you might want to do and think about that is that you want to have air conditioning on, especially when it's hot in the summer. You twist that on, press the button, air conditioning turns on. We come to the front as well. Two fans are starting and starting cooling. And I'm going to show you how that looks like, the fans in the front and what the purpose of those ones is. The glove box compartment is here. In that glove box compartment there is the registration as well as the insurance information in there and other things like Tesla call-in. Let me go to the front trunk first. Gonna turn that off again and I'm gonna show you what's in the front trunk. How that works is pretty easy. You are pulling next to the light switch. There's a level what you pull in the interior here. It loosens both locks. Then you can open that and what you see is you see nothing. There's no engine in here. But what you can imagine is there is a disconnect here, there's a power brakes here, there's a DC-DC converter from 400 to 12 volt, and there is an air conditioning system in there. But however, watch out, if it's too hot, the car first cools itself before it cools you. So in a very hot time, when you see this sign, I put it in here, that sign is called power limited. At that point of time, the car takes care of cooling itself first before it cools the interior. You notice that because it becomes really warm and humid in the cabin. These two fans are just for cooling the battery system or cooling also a little bit cooling for the air conditioning system. There's an extra fan for the air conditioning system. Here in the front there is a wiper fluid. That's all what you have to consider. Usually in Arizona it never rains, so you don't need a wiper fluid. Sometimes maybe in the winter, but it's usually filled. That's all for the front here. You close it the same way. You lock it in on one side and you lock it in on the other side. This car has also special wheels. There are 16-inch in the front and also special brakes. There are special brake pads which don't rust, and there are 16-inch in the front and special brake discs as well. And there are 17 in the back. Usually it's 15 in the front, and here are 17 in the back. So they are wider and bigger. Continental tire, I think that is extreme contact. 205 in the front and 235 in the back. Yes, it is still a beauty after so many years, as you can see. A little bit more explanation to the trunk and what else is in there. There's first a little bit of an explanation from Tesla Owners US about what is in this trunk and what cars is there. That's a Roadster 2.5, the owner. That's a 3-phase, 4-pole, 288 horsepower car, which is a little bit more than 200 kilowatt. So acceleration from 0 to 60 is 3.7 seconds. Original range was 244 miles. Now it's about 90 miles with the car. Regular range, not ideal range. The battery is a 53 kilowatt battery, lithium ion. The car would do 120 miles per gallon and 120 miles per gallon equivalent, which is about 2 liters on 100 kilometer. Charging is up to 70 amp, not at hot times. It reduces the charging power at hot times because it cannot keep up with cooling. These are 16.8 kilowatt. The glider is of this car without the drivetrain, and the battery was produced in Hanthel, Norfolk, UK. This is a factory from Lotus. And after the glider, there was a final assembly in Menlo Park, Northern California, which is south of San Francisco. There are about 2,500 of these cars built. This is number 1188. Also, you will find an emergency information where the disconnects are and what the fire department has to do. Also where the driver airbags are and how to identify this type of a Roadster. What else? Just for the sun protection, reflector comes in the windshield, is actually fitted to that car. That's from the trunk. How to close it? Very easy. Now, a real Roadster owner closes it at one side first and then closes the other side, and then it locks in. Now let's come to driving the car. All right, so when you want to drive the car, sure, you must have a driver's license. I need to have your driver's license number and the expiration date for that. This is a high performance car. 3.7 seconds, 3.9 seconds, 0 to 60 is very fast. So you have to drive careful. So that has instant torque, high speed. If you drive this car, do not drive it empty. If it drives empty, you need to go on a flatbed. Some people are saying that if you drive it so empty, sometimes you cannot recharge it. We call it then a bricked battery, and it becomes pretty expensive to revive that car. So the car has a range of now 95 miles. This is effective range. Originally it had 245 miles, but the battery after about 100,000 miles degraded quite a lot. And that's why you need to be careful. When you drive this car, you need to have 240 volt charging capability at your house, could be a dryer, at any charging station what you have. We provide you the adapters for that. Or you can be at the public charging station and have it there permanently connected. There is a roadside assistance number from Tesla. If you have to call it, you can call my number or call the roadside assistant 877-398-3752. In this case, for this car, it's not included anymore. Tesla does not offer after the warranty roadside assistance. I asked them about that, but they don't see that they have business in that. In this case, you have to call the roadside assistant, pay the roadside assistant for yourself. Do not drive out of the 48 states, the lower 48 states. Do not drive to Mexico. Do not drive on an island. Do not drive on unpaved roads. I had that all happening before. People were doing that. This car, Tesla Roadster, is not supercharger capable. The plug and the adapter looks the same way, but it cannot DC charge on a supercharger. It comes with the universal charger, what you saw in the beginning of the movie. It's about $500 with the adapter $550, and for every adapter it's about $50 in case you lose it. With the exception of the J7072 to Tesla adapter, that's about $90. And the big one, we call it also the can from HC Stark. At the beginning, that was the expensive one, handmade, $750. So do not lose these adapters. The car, however, is chargeable, capable up to 70 amp with 240 volt to charge. If you don't have it yet or not, please download an app. The best one, what I think, is PlugShare. The navigation system here will not show you the chargers. You need to find them out for yourself. In case of a low charge, what you do, you are actually putting your target in the navigation system and then see what your remaining mileage is. If you are driving too fast, you have to slow down. The car is optimized at 35 miles per hour. If you drive 35 miles per hour, you will get more. You get probably twice as much miles. So how to start the car? Put the key in, twist it. This is the sound when the car goes on. So what we recommend here is to use the dashboard and click on dashboard and have it in this way. You can also have it the old-fashioned way with speedometer showing. This car has an air conditioning system as well. You twist this on, press those two buttons, and there's an air conditioning coming out of those fans. As you hear the sound there, the fans are going on. And they can stay longer on as well in order to cool the car. By the way, cooling the car will cool itself first before it cools you. So if it's a hot day like today, you will be cooled unless the car is getting too hot and the car needs to cool itself. If that is the case, at that time you will get very moist in here and it's get pretty warm here and here as well. Let me show you something about how to operate this car. That's a standard parking brake like in any other car. Release it down. There are 4 buttons: parking, reverse, neutral and drive. It's like automatic. Put it in reverse, it lights up green, and then release the foot of your brake. In order to shift it again, put the foot on the brake again, put it in drive. Now you can drive with the car. And here, this is a very tough steering. Now remember, there is no steering assistance for the car. When you drive that car, there's a regular pedal, that's the power pedal all the way down, and the car becomes fast. Really, fast from the get-go. If you release that pedal, the car slows down. It's called regenerative braking. Your kinetic energy goes back into the car. And it slows down up to 3 miles per hour, and then it rolls. That's all what it does. Adjust your mirrors before you start. My mirrors are already maintained. And then you can start driving. At these temperatures, today we have the hottest day in Phoenix at all. It is very hot. From here you drive around, and as long as you're driving, the steering is easy. Remember where the horn is. It's not here in the middle. That's wrong. The horn is here or here, like in a race car. That's where the horn is. So if you come into a problem, here is where you have the horn. If you drive on a highway, I always recommend at least have the thumb just close to the horn. The reason for that is people don't see you. I already had 3 accidents. Actually, I had 2. My wife had 1 accident where people from the left rear run into this car. And they don't watch you, they don't see you. The best way you can drive this car on the HOV lane, 7x24, drive all the way to the left side. Drive always left there, and then you can drive the car. The car is fast. When I press the pedal down, it's fast. And when you release the pedal, it is regenerating. If this is showing into the white area, you are drawing power. If you show us in the green area, you're pushing power back to the car. Here's another speedometer, what you can see here as well. There is the possibility that in some circumstances when the car gets too hot, it reduces you also the power. You will get a limited set of power. You will get about 75 kilowatt. Yes. Usually you get about almost 200 kilowatt. That pushes all the way there into one motor, which is on the rear of the axle. The weight distribution is 40% to the front and 60% to the back. It's very loaded, heavy in the back. The blinker is very normal here. Twist here. And there's a cruise control here as well. If you press the button, there's a little knob there. Press it here, it keeps that speed. Release it, there is an indent. Press it there, it's releasing it. Now, from here, this is almost everything said about the car. The energy you can see from here and how many miles you have left on the car. So here's the energy. You are starting with about 90 miles now, and do not come under 20 miles. It's getting very difficult there. You gotta return home or keep yourself and put yourself on a charger. Remember, you can brick this car. If you drive it empty, you have to put that car on a flatbed because you cannot tow it because there's regenerative braking, and you might damage the car itself and the drivetrain. Or what you need to consider there, that is also everything about what you need to know when you drive the car. Drive careful. In a hot summertime, you might have the roof up. Otherwise, you can put the roof down. Okay, how to shut off the car. You might hear still the fan going when it's hot. It's just another thing is you are pushing the handbrake from here on and pushing your car on park, and then you are twisting your key and take the key off. Let's step out and I'll show you a little bit more about the key and what else you can do with the key. All right, about the key. So this key works for the ignition, whereby it's actually not an ignition, it's just turning on. And if you cannot open, because this is actuated with electricity, if you cannot open the car, you can open it with the key. Here underneath of the car, there is a lock. So you could also stick that key in here and then open it with the lock. Yes. Another way to use that key is, in case you are not opening the trunk, you can open the trunk with this one, with the key, with the same key as well, and twist it and open the trunk. How to put the roof back on? It's always a little bit difficult to put the roof back on. Let me do that. So, first thing, open that door. Then look where are the arrows pointing. The arrows pointing to the front. That is correct. Put this on very easily, just in the middle, here. Turn it open. You get one of those bars. Look, the arrows pointing forward. Stick it in here. Stick it into the other side. Bend it a little bit, then stick it in. Roll it up. Once you roll this up, you can push that in here. There are two knobs, a black one, a longer one, and a blue one. The black one needs to be on the top, in here, as well as on the other side, in here. Then you're pressing your both hands to it, pressing against that knob, and then twisting it against. It's just have been renewed. From the other side, you do about the same thing. You line that up first, take that bar up, look at front ways to the arrows showing to the front, bend that knob, and then stretch it from here, lines it up here, lines it up here. There are metal bands in here. You have to watch these metal bands, because if you overstretch them, they can break. Here are the two knobs again. One knob in here, the other knob in here, and then from here, the same way. Press it against, twist it, and locks in. That all snugs in nicely. Then you can close the door on both sides. This is not 100% waterproof. If you're getting in a high shower, you will not be successful of preventing an intrusion of water in there. That's why some of my sheets or my seats shrunk a little bit, because they shrunk because water came in there, and leather shrinks when water comes in there, and I have to renew those seats. Otherwise, the car is in a top condition. So if you want to drive it, I hope you watch the entire movie. Come and visit me. Subscribe to the channel to get more to know about Teslas. Thumbs up, and see you the next time.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex since flex on. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't go. Throw shade, that's a no. Go high, go low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and a giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up.